They come down here, they sashay down here, they walk over there, they get all of the stuff, they go through the little orientation, shake the hand, and some of them people, you never see them again. We go through the actions of commitment, but we're not really committed, we're not really connected, we're not really joined, because we have no understanding, check this, of our responsibility to any relationship. Write this down. You cannot have relationship without reciprocity. To be connected, to be focused, to be committed. That is something we don't see anymore. Oh, we have the ceremonies. We still have weddings, but people don't get married anymore. I mean, even the people in the wedding. The bride and the groom, we throw rice at them. We give them a certificate, but they don't get married. They move in together, they get the tax deduction, but they're not married. They're not joined together because the first little wind, the first little storm, the first little problem, the first little weakness, the first little test, they are out of there. They have no root. They have no connectivity. They are not joined. They are not committed. They don't have it in their character to withstand anything. They are only there for convenience. And when they don't see the convenience of the connection, they forsake the responsibility and walk away from their commitment. We seldom see real church members. I've seen people come, if everybody who joined this church came one Sunday, it would kill us. You cannot have true relationship without reciprocity. You cannot get into a relationship to get and not give. And I want you to ask yourself, do you give as good as you get? Add up what you're getting and weigh it against what you're giving, and then you will know whether you're really joined to anything. You have people that come to work, they take a job, they're not committed to the job, they want the check. They want the check. Well, everybody wants some money, baby. I'm gonna say it again, everybody wants some money, baby. I'm just here for the check. That's why it's not gonna work for you. You don't understand the reciprocity. Anybody wants some money, but if you're not willing to give at least as good as you get, it will not last, and that's why you can't stay anywhere or work for anybody, because you've never had Levi. You may have had Reuben, you might have had Simeon, but you've never been joined to anything. So you collect anniversaries, you've got a lot of birthdays, you've got some plaques on the wall, but you've never been the person that you could be, because the could be is locked up behind commitment, and until you're committed, you'll never get the could be. I'm glad the choir sung "You're Happy." I don't have to worry about preaching "You're Happy." And that's what's going to make your death so sad. That's what's going to make it so sad, is that you never live first. You never fully engaged. You never fully studied. You never fully invested in anything or anybody. You want to get something that you are not willing to give. You have never been joined. You just wore the dress, got the plaque, they threw the rice. You joined the church, you took the job, but you've never seen what you could be if you threw your whole self at your dream. You go to this church, but you're not joined. If you don't have reciprocity, you're not joined. If you're not really bought into it, if you don't really feel like it's my church, or I come here because I get a word, reciprocity. What do you give back for what you get? Without reciprocity, no relationship will ever reach its apex, because you're not fully invested in anything you do. So you catch some crumbs that fall from the master's table, but you don't get the children's bread. You get the puppy dog blessing that comes from being in the right place at the right time, because you are not joined into the connectivity that produces the real blessing of God in your life. And you're getting older. And you're running out of time and running out of excuses and running out of people to blame. Wonder what would have happened in school if you'd been committed. Wonder what would have happened in your marriage if you'd been committed. Wonder what would have happened in your church if you'd have really thrown your whole self. You've always been casual and never been committed. And some of the most casual people are talented people, because talented people will lay on their talent and use their talent as a camouflage to cover up their lack of commitment. And because you're talented enough to be able to float by on broken pieces, you will fool an indiscriminate eye into thinking that you are committed. You're not committed, you're just talented. You'll never know what you could have been if you would have really committed yourself. You're just talented enough to get over. And you faked them out. You've been at 30 or 60-fold when you were created to be a 100-fold person. I just think it would be terrible. I can't be committed to everything. I can't join everything. I can't be married to 1,000 women. I can't work 1,000 jobs. I can't join 5 churches because I take my commitment too seriously to spread it around loosely. Your life is a false advertisement. 4-color, big, glossy ad promising product you don't carry in your inventory. You'd be shocked how many people sitting out there who can really sing, but they're unwilling to make the commitment to make the rehearsals and do what it takes to be up front. And so they sit there on their talent and they won't do for God what they are asking God to do for them. And they wonder why their prayers are not answered. Tell 3 people and say, commitment, commitment, commitment. You take a half-committed man and a half-committed trifling woman and put them together, and they'll have some half-committed trifling kids, and the whole house will be half-committed because children will be what they see. Stop fussing at your kids. They're a reflection of you. Your whole life is a facade. The whole thing is a fake. The whole thing is a front. Your whole life is a camouflage suit. And now you're getting older, and you'll never get to see what you could have been, because the cost of getting to see it is a commitment that you've never been willing to pay. You're trying to get somebody to fall in love with a you that you've never discovered yourself. You come to the altar and you raise your hand and you say, Lord, I give myself to you, but you don't. You walk down here and join the church and you say, now I'm a member of the church, but you're not. You marry somebody and say, you can count on me, I'll be there through the thick and the thin, for better, for worse, for richer and poor, in sickness and health. You didn't mean it.
If you're new to the Impact Secret Podcast show, welcome to the family, to my existing family. As always, big up. Thank you for joining. On this podcast show, we shift the mindset through inspiration, motivation, and discipline, which we all know discipline is the foundation that inspires and motivates. I am your humble host, Well, your host, ED. For all you smart and intelligent folks out there, that just simply means Ed. Now, pull up to the dinner table. I got some stories to tell. You know the slogan around here, bet on yourself. You won't win unless you get in the game and play. You never know how strong you are until being strong is the only choice you have. Bob Marley. Let's talk about those 3 impact secret values. Impact secret value number 1, commitment level. Impact secret value number 2, the one thing. Impact secret value number 3, reciprocity. Today's episode is entitled, What Are You Throwing at Your Dream? Again, what are you throwing at your dream? You ready to get in today's show? I know I am. Let's go get it. Welcome back, family. You know, I hope you enjoyed that clip by TD Jakes. It was amazing. It was outstanding. Okay, let me stop being so descriptive and throwing all these different adjectives out here. But what I'm saying, it was amazing. And I really wasn't even going searching for that clip. You see, I wasn't searching for that clip because I was searching for something else to talk about today. And I love how things work out. I love how God uses me in different ways because that was so impactful. I had to, I think that's probably about my 4th or 5th time listening to it, because as I was listening to it, I said, ooh, he talking to me. Was he talking to you, family? I felt he was talking to me. He being, I was talking about TD Jakes. He was talking to me because of the fact of, there have been a lot of things that I've been interested in, but then I lacked the commitment. Yeah, it looked on the outside that I was extremely committed, but I really wasn't. You see, I remember when I wanted to earn my own money, and I went to my mother and I said, hey, Mom, I want to earn my own money. Well, the little entrepreneur in me kicked in, and this is when I went door to door asking people, can I rake their leaves? Now, this is the funny thing about it. See, a lot of times in life, when we're not told we can't do something, because my mother never told me, no, you couldn't make any money or anything like that. I just took it upon myself. And when I started looking back at those stories, I realized some of the things that trip a lot of us up when we start going through life, meaning that we transition from that child mentality into adulthood. And what I notice is that a lot of times people tell us what we can't do or what we shouldn't be doing or how we should be doing something. And my mother never gave me any directions on how I can earn money for myself. She said, see if there, only thing she mentioned or recommended was saying, hey, look and see, you're young, and I don't know based on your age if you'll be able to get a job just yet. So see if there's anything that you can do to, find ways to earn money, and ethically, of course. And so that's when my friend and I decided to go to where the college kids stayed at. And again, no one told us to go to where the college kids were at. No one said, hey, this is your marketing. No one gave us the marketing blueprint of, hey, what to say, and or the sales blueprint of what to say, or even, where people will be willing to give us money. No one showed us and told us that, hey, you may be rejected, but keep knocking on each door and keep going regardless of the rejections, because as Mark Cuban has said, you only have to be right once. And we were right once. It was this guy, he said, hey, you can go, how much are you charging? And again, we didn't know the price, but after we actually completed the job, we realized we kind of undersold our services. So there were so many lessons caught up in there. You're probably asking me, ED, where are you going with this? I'm so glad you asked. You see, I was so committed to earning additional money because of the fact of I got tired of asking my mother when a new game or some sneakers or something like that I wanted came out. I got tired of going to her or to my dad and asking for money. I wanted to create my own economics. And that has carried along through my life. And I look at just how when you make a decision to be committed, when you make a decision to really lock in and be and identify focus, there's nothing that can get in your way. And every time that I locked down and I made a true commitment to ultimate focus, and had that no matter what. See, family, once in a while or anytime you get a chance, you got to have that no matter what. That no matter what is going on around me, I'm still going to go step up and be committed. No matter what is going on inside of me of how I'm feeling today or what I'm thinking today, no matter what, I still need to stand and deliver. A lot of times, family, we get caught up and what we're seeing other people are doing or what the results that they're achieving. I'm guilty of it just as you, because who doesn't want to live the good life? If they tell you they don't want to live the good life, then they're lying to you. And the good life, let me be clear, let's unpack that, is saying that the good life is whatever you thought or whatever you designed in your mind that you thought would be a good life. So having a good life may mean going to having your own career in a field of your choice. Having the good life is having a happy family, spouse, kids, whatever you identify with what the good life is. But I asked you and I challenge you of what is your commitment level? What is rooted in your commitment level? I heard this guy talking about something that was really amazing. He said, the test of your commitment level in a sense is really not, I think his name was Andy, and I'm going to paraphrase here too. He was saying in so many words of your commitment level is tested when you don't feel like doing something. And I think about when I ask you guys that question regarding losing weight, and I think about it and I say, sometimes we make things more complicated more than it has to be. Because what Andy was talking about of when you're tested when you don't feel like doing it. You're not tested when you're in a good mood. When you feel like, when you're excited about taking on the day, you're tested, your commitment level is truly tested, and then it's identified what type of root does it have. So going back to what I was saying regarding losing weight, when you made a decision that you want to lose weight, you don't have to read all of these books. You don't have to look at various videos except to complement what you're doing. And what I mean by that, if you ask that simple question, hey, how do you lose weight? Easy. Well, you probably stop eating the things that will cause you to gain weight, and you start eating a better lifestyle. You cut back your calories and drink more water. Or a more simplistic answer, cut back your calories and drink more water. Just like if someone was, and I just started thinking about it, I was like, wow, we do truly complicate things. Of course, you would have to expand upon that answer regarding losing weight. But what I'm trying to get you to understand, family, is the fact that when you say, hey, this is what I'm interested in, and I'm going to test it out and see if it's a match. And then you find out, hey, it really is a match. I really enjoy this. All right. Now let's heighten the commitment level. The concern that I have sometimes, family, is that we get so lost in the details that we forget the fun, or we forget the why we're doing this, or we forget the whole purpose we're fully invested in this thing. So that's why it's challenging a lot of times to start earlier. Because when I think about, one of the players that NBA players that inspired me, you guys already know my Mount Rushmore, I could say, of basketball players. But on that Mount Rushmore is Kobe Bryant. And the reason why I admire and inspired by Kobe, and it was something that this rapper named, I think his name is Russ, I forgot his last name, but Russ, he had said that was so powerful. He said that the way that you honor a Kobe Bryant's legacy is not that you go out and buy jerseys and all the superficial things. How you honor his legacy is taking the mentality and actually inputting it in your life and actually doing what he did. So if your craft was music, that you work harder than your competition. But harder doesn't see, and a lot of times we get that twisted as well. We think if we work so extremely hard and exhaust ourselves that we're doing something. No, what I'm recommending is that you literally take time to study your craft. You literally take time to invest in the thing that really can get you to that next level, because there's various levels as we discussed. So when we talk about being committed, the commitment is a lifetime. And when, I know when they were talking about asking Kobe, he was like, so how long did you, get up early and do all these things that you did in the hard work, in your work ethic? He said, how long you do that? He said, I did it for 20 years. I wanted to be the greatest. And so that simplistic answer regarding if you want to be great at something, it's the commitment that's required. And family, like I said, I'm guilty of it just like you, because the challenges of doing it day in and day out and expecting and praying and hoping for to see your hard work or see the efforts of your commitment pay off. Sometimes it's not visual. Sometimes it just doesn't show up like that. And I think sometimes, I know that it's really a test. It's a test to see if you're going to just stop and turn back around. There have been a lot of situations or a lot of journeys I've been on in my life where, especially when I decided to go back to school, and we had made a decision, we being a friend of mine, said, yeah, we're going to go back to school or whatever. And we were just like, and so we sat in our first class and then, start going through the program, and he ended up dropping out of the program, and he dropped out. And I asked him, I said, so why did you drop? He was like, man, all of this paper writing and all these things. He was like, it's just not worth it. And I said, ooh, he don't get it. Because it's never about the degree. It was never, for me, it was never about the degree. It was about the decision that I had made, that we had made collectively as friends, to say, hey man, listen, we're both going to go into this and we can help each other out, because if we're, basically we're taking the same course, so we can, bounce things off each other if we don't understand or whatnot. And so to what I realize is the fact that when you make a decision that this is what you're going to do, go and do it. What it made me understand is also, again, like I always talk about, is having the ability to pivot. But what you can't do is that you can't give in to what you're seeing in front of you. I tell you, family, every morning that when I wake up earlier than was intended to, it's a challenge. And if anybody is telling you that it's not, then they're lying to you. Because if you are, used to getting up at a certain time, if you are used to, not having to get up, work out, do all these other things, if that's not in your used to category, you're extremely uncomfortable every day. Every day. Monday through Friday. And then when you decide to take it to the next level, as the trainer for Michael Phelps asked, hey, what do you do on weekends? He was like, nothing. He said, well, do you mind working out on the weekends? Yeah. He said, well, we just got an advantage over the competition. And see, I know that's the next step for me, family. What is the next step for you? See, for me, I know I need to get up the same time that I'm getting up on during the weekday. But the concern, I'll keep it a buck with you. The fear is more or less of saying, man, I'm going to be tired. And I don't want to be so tired. But then also I don't want to be a fool by saying, because people will say, hey, I'll rest when I'm dead, or I only need 2 or 3 hours of sleep. I know I need more than 2 hours or 3 hours of sleep. And in actuality, doing that is not really good for your body. More and more studies are coming out, regarding that, because you hurt yourself in the long run. And so I'm trying to I'm working on finding a balance. What is a balance? And what does that look like? Because if I put so much into getting up early, all the time, and not take time to let my body rest and let my mind rest, in a sense, so I can, prepare and build up, have an immune system and a mental system to fight whatever's, coming up against me and whatever I'm going up against, I should say. So that's why I believe it's truly important to figure out what's that next level for you. Like I just described mine. I know my next level is to wake up at the same time I'm waking up during the weekday, between 3 and 4 on Saturday and Sunday, because that'll give me an edge to be able to put more content together. I know that I should be on this social media channel or that social media. Like, these are the things I know. And so I ask you, what do you know that you should be doing? Not what you think. Like, what do you know you should be doing that you're not doing? And why are you not doing them? As we talked about, your excuse may be extremely valid. The reason why may be so valid, but it doesn't serve your purpose. It doesn't serve your dream. It has no impact on your dream. So what are you really throwing at your dream to be successful? What steps are you taking? What things have you cut out? What things have you actually grown at throwing at your dream? Meaning that you have to make a decision, family. When you get it, have you ever been, I remember I would always do this when I was little, even as an adult. You get ready you put your big toe or your foot in the pool. You're like, ooh, this is cold. I don't know if I can, maybe I'll just start putting a little bit in at a time. And it keeps getting colder. And what I realize is that is really a metaphor for life. A lot of times we'll dip our big toe or our foot, or we'll put half of our body in, and it's uncomfortable, instead of just jumping in and getting that uncomfortability out the way. Because if you realize, once you jump in and you're immersed in it, it doesn't feel cold anymore, because you adjust. Ooh, I think I like that. I'm gonna bring that thing back. I like that. See, a lot of times, family, we may put our big toe, our foot, or even half of our body into the thing. And what you'll realize though, if you just completely jump in all the way, your body and your mind will adjust and adapt to the current situation. So just imagine if you did that with your dream, or you did that with your purpose, or that thing really that you are going after. So it's really about continuously discipline. Like I always said at the top of the show, we talk about inspiration, we talk about motivation, but the foundation of being the best version of yourself is discipline. I don't care what it is. You have to be disciplined. You have to create habits. And that's why I love this. And I love this thing called personal development, because it's a constant growth. It's nothing that you're an expert in. There are no expert personal development, and people out there, because you're constantly learning. Because what may have worked for you a year ago, that may not be able to be applied. And during this time, you have to also think about the reciprocity that you create. See, for me, when I know when I'll go out to eat, and when I've been out to eat, one of my new things now is I'll ask a waitress or waiter, "What was your best tip today?" And they may throw a number out or whatever. And I remember I did this one time, and I end up tipping more than what that person's best tip was. And then they came back to me and was like, "Oh, you didn't have to do that, but I'm so gracious. Do you want?" They start offering me a lot of free things. And I'm not trying to tell you that to impress you, but to impress upon you, as Les Brown would say, is the fact that I wasn't doing that for them. I was doing that because I made a commitment to myself of saying 2020, 2021 has been a challenging year for people of service. And how can I ask someone to invest in me and I'm unwilling to invest in them? How can I ask someone to sign up for my newsletter or sign up for a potential product that I have, or a product that I have, or a course that I have, and I'm unwilling to help people that are doing their job extremely well, and I don't give back because I'm like, well, they get paid for this. But if you really break down the structure and understand the structure behind it, that has nothing to do with they're getting paid. What it has to do with is, how is the service? Even if it's whack. I've even and I only and again, I told her, it's not about them. It's just not. It's about my reciprocity to believe that you have to be willing to give as much as you get. And I used to struggle with the giving part. And reason why, and it wasn't until in college it got broken, because I had friends that were just like, "Hey man," and they brought it to my attention. And when they brought it to my attention, I was like, you know what, you're right. And since then, I've been just like, somebody that, and you have to be careful with that too, family, because you can be someone that gives a lot and not see it in return. And you have to be astute and be a student of, and I know it's funny being a student of giving, but understanding that a lot of times you can't, I don't want to say a lot of times, don't allow yourself to be a doormat because of what you're giving, if that makes any sense. I hope it is. But going back to the whole commitment piece, just think about the reciprocity of being committed to what you made a decision on. If you stop being a casual person when it comes to taking on what you did that you made the decision on. How many decisions have you made and haven't followed through, or started and stopped? I know if right now I could see you would raise your hand if you were honest and not afraid of allegedly being judged. But I'm not going to judge you because I've done it. I probably will. And that's why it's a work in progress. You continue to work on saying, okay, let me ride this thing out until I know that I've done everything possible. If you've done everything possible within what you said you were going to do, if you said, hey, look, I'm creating a podcast show and I'm going to record 5 or 7 days a week and you decide to take a day off, only way that is respectful is if you said, hey, at these certain number of episodes, I'm going to stop. So at 50 or 100, I'm done. Speaking of that, because for me, I'm going to I'm trying to make a decision if we're going to do it at the 200 mark or do everything together, because what I would like to do is stop at 200. And when I say stop, meaning take a week and get prepared for the video piece that I'm going to be incorporating, as well as updating the social media, Instagram. Mostly, I'm just going to be working with Instagram and YouTube and really learn and hone those two platforms and start doing that. Take that week to really focus on that and putting out this content and previous episodes or whatnot. So I'm going back and forth with that because but once I start, I want to make sure I can stay committed. So in order to be able to stay committed, I'm going to have to identify what does my timeline look like? Where are some gaps at? Because when you're moving like that, family, you're trying to do all of this combined into one. You can, like yesterday, I got caught up in the shiny syndrome almost again. I almost bought something that I know wasn't going to add value. It sounded good at the time. And then I was like, we're not doing this. Let's stick to what we were going to do. And that shiny syndrome, man, I don't know if it's just and I hear a lot of entrepreneurs talk about, the shiny syndrome, shiny object syndrome or whatnot. And I am guilty of it. If you tell me there's a course out there that's going to help me to be better at this and doing this, I'm excited. And then you get into the course and it's garbage. It's at a high level and it's PowerPoints and you like, really? You mean I invested, whatever that number is, and you doing PowerPoints? Or you heard my rant on that. So I'll get away from that. But the point I'm trying to say is that when you really focus on one thing, now my thing when I say focus on one thing, I mean it differently from what Gary Keller talked about in the one thing. My one thing is saying, okay, these are the 3 things that I'm focused on. Well, I'll share it with you guys now, family. I'm focused on project management because I still, love that and understanding. And there's a couple of certifications that I know I need to take. So focusing on those. And then number 2 is my, of course, is the show and producing this on the different various podcasts as well as on YouTube. And then a third component is my affiliate marketing piece that I am working on, which is going to be part of a blog for Conscious Business, which is going to also have a podcast associated with it. But in those 3 things, I think more of a waffle approach to what I'm doing. So if you ever seen a waffle or ever had a waffle, you know that on the waffle, there's sort of like squares in a midst. So when I'm in that box of doing, let's say, this show, I'm focused on that. I'm not thinking about project management. I'm not thinking about anything regarding about the affiliate marketing. When I get into the box of the affiliate marketing and doing that, then I'm in that box. I'm focusing on that. And so to me, that's how I address the one thing or whatever. I'm not wanting to do, okay, well, I'm in this box now and now I'm going between the boxes at the same time. No, I'll spend an hour working on this, take a quick 5-minute, 10-minute break, then come back and either make a decision to say, okay, I want to do another hour here, or I'm going to go into my other box and work on that for a little bit. But the whole thing is, I don't want to stretch myself so thin that I'm not fully invested and committed, because what can happen is that in navigating through those boxes, you can not show one of the boxes enough tender care. I think I like that. Enough tender care in which won't show up in your results. So what I'm challenging you is, family, if you are deciding to take on various things, don't combine them all together. Separate them in a way where you're only in one box at a time and not just spread all over the place. If you're focusing on one box at a time, getting that together, making sure everything is good, boom, then you're on to your next thing. But for me, this podcasting and YouTubing piece is a priority. So this is first, and then the other items are, second and third, really. Because for me, this is what I need to master. For me, this is a skill set I need to hone. For me, I understand that the only way to get better at this, the only way to create better content, to bring in more family members and to grow the audience, is to have the wherewithal to understand this is something I have to practice every day. No question. I have to read every day. No question. So when you get to that point, family, of knowing when you want to be the best on the earth, this is the process. This is the commitment. This is where you put yourself out there, where you have shows that are just so amazing, and then you have shows that, they were okay. And be fine with it, because you understand that everything, this is a mathematical, this is a equation. The more that I put out, the more that I experience this, the more that I learn, and the more that I do, the better I'm going to get. So, family, I hope today I challenge you to be more committed to whatever the thing that you're going after, whatever that purpose, dream is you're going after. Hope that you stop taking life so casualty, but still have a balance of what you're going after in your personal life. And understanding the importance of focusing on, as I described about the box on a waffle, jumping from box to box, but not jumping from box to wear yourself so thin where you lose momentum and focus and urgency on whatever your main thing is. Identify your main thing and making sure that the momentum and the traction doesn't get lost from your main thing. And most of all, don't fall for the shiny object syndrome, family, because everything looks great until you try it on, and then it loses its uniqueness. A new car smells great when you first get in it, but after you've driven it for a week or more, that new car smell is gone. So do you have the courage through that boredom to continue to keep going? Listen, I hope you enjoyed today's show. I see I'm talking more than I had signed up for. And what I mean by that is that I really enjoy this. So I'll cut it back a little bit, family. But the only reason why I go so long and so hard as far as, the timing, because I really wanted these to be like 20 minutes. So it can be a, quick 20 minutes while you're working out or, you're walking or something like that. But when I get behind this mic, I start thinking about life. I start thinking about things I've been through. I start thinking about how I can be a better version of myself, how you can be a better version of yourself, and what are we waiting for? Because nobody is sitting there handing out better versions of yourself. We got to go and get it. We got to go be hungry enough to show up and show out. I have been your host for today of the Impact Secret Podcast Show, ED. And this has been another. I feel like DJ Khaled. I want to say another one, so I won't. I'll just sign out. Peace.